Hey everyone. Today's guest is Trace Bullinger. Trace is a student at Abilene Christian University and is a serial entrepreneur, running multiple different side gigs alongside being a student. Trace is the perfect example of how entrepreneurship doesn't have to be some big flashy idea, and it can be something extremely simple. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode with Trace Bullinger.
Let's just go right in, Trace. So you're a serial entrepreneur. Just tell us honestly, to start from the beginning and kind of tell us where you are right now. How about that?
All right, will do. All right, so I was about 12 or 13 years old in middle school. I was, had friends looking for jobs, and I was not all about, working the 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. shifts at restaurants. I wanted something different, and little did I know I had, it was literally it was in my same household. My sisters had these little figurines. They were called Little's Pet Shops. Not sure if you guys have ever heard of those, but some of those can go for some really good money. And so I would just buy these Little's Pet Shops in bulk. And so I'm 12, 13 years old, just getting them like shipped to my house. And I would sell each figurine like one by one and kind of list it all on the spreadsheet, see how much I could profit off of the one lot. And then that's how much you know, take $100 off that, and that's how much my max bid was, or that's how much my offer was on that item. So kind of started there, went to baseball bats, and I used to play baseball up until like my high school years. So up until I was like 15, 16, I was like, man, they're throwing really fast. 80, 90 miles an hour. I was like, no way. So kind of called it quits after middle school. So had some old bats lying around and listed those on eBay and Facebook, and boom, just like within a week or two, sold. I was like, this is awesome. So found some of the similar models of bats and got to work with those. And I still do this today, but I'll buy a baseball bat online, either Facebook or eBay or Sideline Swap, some of the three like most common marketplaces. And I will buy a baseball bat, I'll get it shipped to my address, and then I'll turn it around for a profit, maybe clean it up a little bit. And I'll make, on average about $100 per bat. So it's a good little side hustle for, anybody doing it. It's great. And on top of that, since I've been 18, so since I've been, I guess legal, and a legal adult, I've picked up the deliveries. So I've done Spark. That's like the Walmart grocery shopping. So, and grocery delivery. So that came out, I think like 5 years ago or something, pretty recently. But that is essentially just picking up grocery orders at the store, delivering to the customer. Same thing with Instacart. Started doing that whenever I was 18, and then DoorDash, Uber. I've really done a lot. I've had a lot of good entrepreneurial experience, and I've had a lot of like little side gigs just on the side. So I haven't had, a full blown out, like huge, $1,000 company or something. But like the baseball bats, they do like gross me a lot of money. Like $20,000 was like the last 90 days of my baseball bat sales, which is incredible. And
90
I think
days?
about 4 to 5,000 of that is profit, which is great. I mean, that's still, 25%.
Wow.
So yeah, that's kind of, I guess like if you can list all of my entrepreneurial experiences, like started at age 12, was grinding through middle school, high school. And then whenever I got to college here at ACU, I picked up the deliveries. And then this past semester doing Simply Flowers is my most recent, I feel like, applicable experience for, talking on this. I had an idea. I didn't go to the first, I guess like the first year of the entrepreneurship class. I just waited a year for that. And so I was in entrepreneurship 120, the foundation entrepreneurship class. And I just had an idea for like flowers. I think that my original idea was not what I ended up like pursuing. I just thought like guys don't receive a lot of flowers, so let's make it more, guy friendly. And that did not work out the way I like it to. But I think part of being an entrepreneur is being flexible. It's like it's really rolling with the ideas like, okay, like this is not what I had initially planned. So kind of refine that idea a little bit. And actually Sing Song was right around the corner. So that is where we made like the most of our sales. We made over $1,200 after buying like $400 in products. So we had a huge profit margin. It was just insane. Like I would go buy the flowers at HEB and United and just fix up arrangements. I had like some experience doing that in high school. So just jack of all trades, kind of just I have the Simply Flowers, I have Boss Bats, and I'm also delivering. So any way I can find just a side gig or something to do on the side that doesn't take a lot of time, it's great. And it's really suited my schedule as a student well. So and yeah, look forward to maybe becoming a student exec next semester with just the entrepreneurship program and hopefully continuing on the Simply Flowers business. So
Yeah. Wow. So my first question for you is where you get the motivation to do all of these things. Is it just like ingrained in you, or is there outside factors that have pushed you to do these things?
no, that's a great question. I really think it was kind of instilled in me. I come from a very like business minded family. So my dad is a financial planner and my mom is a business owner. So she recently, about 3 years ago or so, saw a need for music lessons for like a music academy in our town. And so she built one. And so she is the owner of that, oversees over 15 employees that are offering, hundreds of students music lessons each week. So it is really incredible. And then dad just every penny I get is essentially either reinvested back in my business or it's going in the stock market. And I have made awesome like I got started with my Roth IRA whenever I was like 13 or 14 just because of my like dad's connection with that. So really just to answer your question in short, like I think it just comes from like my motivation just comes from my the people closest to me, my parents, and then also like you guys as well. Like I see other like-minded entrepreneurship students. I'm like, man, this is helping me continue on, pressing on to what's just worth pursuing.
And so you kind of touched on a little bit your family there. You're from Texas.
Yes, Wichita Falls, Texas.
Awesome. And going to ACU, you're in the same class as us, but what's your major?
I am a biology major.
Okay. And I know we're still on background, but you've got a lot of things going on.
Absolutely.
How did you decide to be a bio major?
So I've always had a passion for medicine, probably since I would say beginning years of high school. I just took some like medical terminology classes and different health classes whenever I was in high school and kind of fell in love with it. Started like shadowing at my hospitals, like a pharmacy volunteer, just very like basic stuff. Wasn't doing anything crazy, but kind of fell in love with like medicine and helping people. So I think part of my passion for the biology, the science degree comes from that. But also like just being like having multiple sections of my brain. I'm like, man, I'm so like business minded. I love the money part and just like pursuing these different just different avenues and different like opportunities to make some more money, to capitalize and to just make a profit. And all of these like business terms I feel like have kind of been ingrained in me since early on, since I was a kid. So just using like different parts of my brain have been like really cool. Like yes, I have this passion for medicine, but man, it is so rewarding and so cool to also like have the passion for business and entrepreneurship.
Have you thought about combining the
Dude,
two?
yes, like
Really?
operating like a hospital or like, dude, like some sort of like hospital administration. Like I think that would be pretty cool to look into. I know also there's, some more business like minded, like, obviously like some type of manager or some type of like, I don't know. I've definitely like thought about that. I think I'm just trying to be like in the present moment. I'm like, man, like I'm pursuing my 4 year and we'll see what comes out of it. I'm super excited to be where I am and just have the minor in entrepreneurship, minor in business, just pursuing that as well.
So Trace, the place I'm interning at this summer is we're a bioscience facility. So like we have lab space on site, and we have startup companies that essentially come rent lab space, rent office space, and our whole service is to help them grow. And we have incubator and accelerator programs for them to come through. So
Dude,
that could
that
be
sounds pretty cool.
there are tons of things like that around the country. I've been doing a ton of research on comparing our programs to other programs in the country, and there's a surprising amount of these entrepreneurship, business, science places that you might find interesting. So
How exactly like does that work, if you don't mind me asking? Just like you talk about like incubators and labs, just like how does that exactly relate to like the business side of it that you're in?
yeah, so an incubator is essentially, um, say I have a idea for this new medical device, right? And I have the technical expertise. And I'm like, okay, I know this is going to work, and it like technically will do what I want it to, but I have no clue what to do business wise. And so you come to the place is called Velocity, Texas, and so you would come, you say, hey, I've got this amazing idea. I like don't have any money coming in, and I don't know have a business plan. Can you help me? And so you can rent pretty cheaply the lab so that you have space to work on your thing. You have obviously the office space to kind of have an office look official, that type of thing. But then the programming that we do in an incubator, and that most incubator programs do, is there's normally some component of mentorship. So we have a variety of bioscience industry experts, and you get connected with them, and ideally the one who kind of fits in most with you is your mentor. And then we have uh, events and programming that help you grow your business. So whether you need help with legal stuff, finances, marketing, anything that you didn't learn in business school because you were a bio major, um, that's what that's there for. So it's pretty cool. I've learned a lot, but it sounds like something that kind of mixes all of your many interests. So
That could be right up my alley. Yeah. That
yeah.
sounds awesome.
So, well, I guess we're right on the topic. You're going into your third year as a bio major, and obviously doing all these side hustles. What do you see yourself doing after college?
Yeah, that's a good question. I definitely see myself still pursuing like the side hustles. Just like probably part time. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm still doing them part time because it's really on my own schedule, but like there's no set hours or anything I have to go in and, shop for people or deliver groceries. But as far as like after graduation, post grad, I think my plans might be to take a gap year, maybe gain some sort of either healthcare or like some sort of business experience. I think that would be very rewarding for me. Um, I am graduating early, unfortunately, so I'm either looking at a December graduation or like December of 26, or um, unfortunately like May of 26. So we'll see. Dude, it's brutal. It's like I literally just got here. Like I finished my second year and I'm graduating in, 3 years or 3.5. So but yeah, I'll probably be looking at a gap year. Just to kind of um I think like tune in, like fine tune some skills, either in medicine or in business. And then man, I really don't know what it looks like after that. I would love to maybe apply for PA school or medical school if that's still on my radar. If not, man, if I end up landing on, medical sales or some sort of like uh, just business opportunity that just really strikes me and I fall in love doing, I might do something that's, right up with entrepreneurship or business. Yeah, I just think it's really the Lord's timing with all this. I really can plan and have all of these things set in stone, but man, it's cool to see the Lord just kind of shape and direct you down whatever path He has.
Yeah, no, I definitely can resonate with that a lot. Um, but I am curious though. I'm curious. You mentioned it a little bit previously with like running a hospital and all, but do you have any outrageous dream that you'd be like, this is my dream business that I would absolutely love running and it wouldn't be a day of work. Like, what is that for you?
Hmm, man, I honestly have not given it that much thought. Like I
That's
haven't.
fair. That's all good.
I can't like. I I think honestly, if I were man, like I think one idea I've had is like some sort of like flipping houses and just like real estate. I think that's been pretty cool for me to see like other people do it. Just like, oh, cool. I financed this house, have it on Airbnb. I'm just making this passive income. I think that something like that would be right up my alley.
I was
That
about to
would
say,
be,
I could see you as an Airbnb owner, Trace, for
dude.
sure. Like multiple property, like, yeah, dude,
Dude, yeah,
that's right
that'd
up
be
your
cool.
alley.
Like Trace Bullinger, your host. Yeah, but that I guess that could be one dream. Also, just I mean, you guys kind of touched on it. Just a serial entrepreneur. Like even if I do end up landing on real estate and I fall in love with it, like just also having this on the side where I have like some sort of small business that maybe I'm the owner and I have like a manager overseeing it. Owning a laundromat or a self storage unit, like, dude, that'd be super easy. And those have huge success rates. Yeah, I think just laying all my cards like on the table, just like, man, I have this and maybe one over here. I think that's the dream.
Well, and to your point there, like the amount of people who have like own a car wash or a vending machine or things like that that aren't particularly time labor intensive, but make a ton of money. And I mean, that's a totally great side hustle that is entrepreneurship. Like that's figuring out something. Sure, it's a small business, but you're being entrepreneurial in the way that you're kind of setting that up. And so, I mean, that's a great option. That'd be really cool. I've thought about that too. I want to own a driving range at one point.
Oh, that'd be
Mm.
so good.
Yeah, that'd be really fun.
Fun. Have you thought of like the I guess the simulators? Have you seen those
But
pop up
yeah,
recently?
well,
Dude,
there's a spot in Abilene that's pretty cool. They've got like 4 simulators indoors, food, and like you just kind of hang out. That
nice.
that would be a sweet spot to be.
Dude, you could buy the simulators, buy the spot. You don't even have to have food, and you can just rent out the simulators. And
Dude,
like,
have like a membership or something, like
Exactly.
$100 a month, just like
yeah,
have a limited amount of spots. So then like people are like, oh, this is urgent. Kind of insist on that urgency. And then just like, cool, I have 100 spots, $100 a piece. Like I'm bringing in this money, and really, there's not a ton of upkeep. I mean, facility, you pay your utilities each month, and then, I mean, your projector, but you have
Hire
your golf
someone
clubs.
to man the front
Yeah,
desk. Yeah,
yeah, dude, it'd be a great idea.
and oh my gosh, I just lost my thought. Don't worry about it.
is it about
That's
golf? No.
Oh, oh, I hate when that happens.
dang it. He's still cooking. It's still there.
Oh, I got it. Okay, so thank you all for the patience. The one thing about all the things that you're doing, Trace, is you're filling needs that have been solved already. Like all of these things are not necessarily like groundbreaking new technology, and entrepreneurship doesn't have to be, right? Like selling the flowers at ACU. There's not really a flower shop around ACU, and at the events such as Sing Song, which for people who are not ACU affiliated, it's how would you describe Sing Song?
It's a big event.
It is the
A
nation's
big event doesn't do it justice, though.
It's like a big talent show musical match.
Acapella.
Yep,
Yeah.
the nation's largest a cappella contest.
So it's a big thing at ACU, but providing that at a venue that doesn't have that is making it more convenient, and that's obviously proven to be a good way to make money. With the
Yeah,
battle.
I was volunteering for that, and it was my job was getting people to their seats, and he made my job so much harder because the line was out the door and it was blocking everybody. And I'm like, dude,
I'm sorry.
no, it's fine. But it was like so cool to see you just popping off on sales. It was so good.
Yeah.
And to that point, like for anyone out there, if you have an idea that's like you think, oh, it's kind of dumb, it's not anything crazy. The boring ideas, I'm not saying any of them are boring, but the things that aren't necessarily completely groundbreaking are sometimes the most reliable and best sources of income. I mean, it's absolutely never a bad thing to start. So
yeah, I mean, I've heard my mix of this kind of a thing when it comes to doing software development. And it's like, you don't need to reinvent the wheel when you're creating new software. If the software exists out there, you can still do it. And I think the culmination of this thought is seen in the idea, mind blank, wonderful. Oh, goodness. I just had a conclusion to that. And I'm doing
well, I'll keep going off that because
yeah, go for it. I'll remember it in a second.
It cut me off whenever you need. But like you're saying, software is another spot where there's lots of people just doing side hustle. Like a lot of people, we've been talking about this off podcast. They'll be working their computer science technology job during the day, and there's plenty of need for freelance work on the side as well. And I mean, I think all of that to say there's so many opportunities in open spots. Wes, you got it?
Yeah. Yep, I remember. Yep. The thing that I was seeing online about software development and not making a brand new idea, kind of correlating to the lean startup method where you're having to go out and test your audience, is when you're rebuilding a thing that already exists, you already know that the audience exists. You already know that there's a demand for it. So you're kind of bypassing that a little bit. Now, of course, you got to do it tailored for your specific business, but it's, I mean, of course. And I'm pretty sure my camera just went out there, but oh well. Yeah.
That's a good point. Sometimes, people are so sort of stuck in their heads of thinking that they have to reinvent the wheel when what they really need to do is to get the wheel to their customers. And so like what Trace did by selling flowers outside of Sing Song, this kind of goes into like customer discovery, but he didn't advertise. He didn't try to attract customers. He went right to where the customers already are. And that's like a surefire way to like just find people who want to buy whatever you're selling quickly. It's a lot quicker than, having to advertise whatever you're doing and try to attract, butterflies, so to speak.
I really like that quote. The wheel one.
Reinvent the wheel. Bring it to them.
Come on.
That's right.
Okay, so Trace, obviously you're no stranger to entrepreneurship. By the time you got to ACU, you had done all this stuff in middle school. So it was kind of in your blood and your DNA, things you've done. For a lot of people who are coming into college, they've never experienced or done something like that. And like I know as part of the Greg Center at ACU, that intro class is a big turnoff for a lot of people because you're working in a team that most of the time is dysfunctional because they try and make the teams even. And by making them even, sometimes there's a mix in interest and time and that type of thing, right? So that's already tough. And then we've mentioned on the podcast, like not everyone is necessarily made for entrepreneurship. Not everyone thinks that way or wants to have the situation where you have to be the boss and figure everything out, right? So from your perspective, having more experience in your past, what advice would you give to someone who doesn't feel comfortable in those situations, but wants to, or maybe doesn't want to, but how can you convince them to try?
Sure. Man, I mean, Wes and Turner both had kind of hinted on it earlier, but the lean startup method, just like if you are passionate about something and there's that one thing that you like know a lot about and you are passionate about it, about pursuing that, I would say go for it. You know, if there is something out there already, I mean, it's just what Daniel said. Don't try like redefining the wheel. Like it, in a sense, just like, man, I would say if you are passionate about something, like pursue that. And I think in my experience, like all of these like ideas that I've had, they're not really like, they in a sense are original. Like I'm spinning off of something that has worked in the past. But for those individuals that are just having trouble with maybe having the motivation or the passion to find something that's right up your alley that is just perfect for you, man, just don't give up. I would say, like, don't lose hope if at first you're just like, man, I'm not sure. If you're not sure about entrepreneurship, that's completely fine. Like, there are so many other fields that you can go into. I would just say that entrepreneurship, like, in a sense, is very like, I would say it's being a self-starter. And just if you are willing to like find that idea and go with it and pursue it, I mean, sure, you might have a mentor, you might have a team that's working alongside you. Those are very important resources. I think everybody should have that. But in my case, like a mentor or somebody that was alongside, like that really wasn't the case for like boss bats for, my baseball bat business, as well as, the flower business. Like, yes, I had my team, but a lot of the time I spent was just on my own, wrapping those flowers. And that is one thing about entrepreneurship is just hard work. You're putting in the hours, you're putting in so much time, labor, energy. You're just wiped. You're just, exhausted by the end of it. But man, it is like super rewarding whenever you like see the fruits that come out of that. Whenever the Lord is just so faithful and is just like, man, like here's interest, here are people wanting to buy your product. That's incredible. You see, in my head, that just like initiates a spark, kind of like, this is working. Like, let's continue on with this. Let's buy more product. Let's see if we can, keep our margins like even higher, maybe increase our margins a bit. Let's keep the costs low and the sale price high. And let's just keep rolling with this idea. If the idea fizzles out, awesome. Like, that's all right. Let's move on to something else that maybe you had thought of before, but we're kind of scared to pursue. In my mind, I think that, or like in my own like life, I think that might be like real estate. Like I've been, honestly kind of scared to go into that. I don't have any experience. I know some people that do. I'd love to have like somebody just take me under their wing. I think that might be my next step. But for everybody else out there, man, like find somebody that knows a lot about that specific area. If you're too scared or if you're worried about not doing it perfectly, you're going to do just fine. Find somebody that knows something about an area that you are interested in and just maybe shadow them, maybe look and see what a day is like for them. I think that would be my greatest advice is, man, just don't give up and just pursue what you're passionate about. If it's music, go and find music, if there's a way to have music lessons and to, offer music lessons or tutoring, a lot of need is, there's a lot of need in, simple things like that, where maybe Wes knows how to code and program and somebody else doesn't, but they want to learn. Awesome. Wes can offer tutoring at, $30 an hour, and maybe he's booked like 8 times a week. That's awesome. That's, some extra a side hustle. That's some extra income coming in on the side. But I just say, like, to summarize, just like, don't be afraid to chase like your passions, to chase what you are really like inspired by, what really like keeps you up at night. That's like, man, I love doing this. This is something that's like down in my heart that is just, it just, it just tugs at it. And it's like, oh, I want to do this. Like, go do it. Come on, let's do it.
I love how you kind of describe it as like a mindset. Like right
Yeah.
now, you just came up with another thing, another side hustle that Wes can totally just go start, right? And I feel like once the lid is opened on that mindset, it like just becomes limitless. Like things keep bouncing out, and it's like sometimes there's too many things bouncing around,
That's
but
true.
it's way better to have too much opportunity than there is to have none. The other thing I love what you said there is entrepreneurship is being a self-starter. And that to me is something that is applicable not to people who are having a side hustle or running their own business, but also if you're an employee for a company. Being a self-starter, being someone who takes the initiative, who maybe goes above and beyond what your job description is, like that's entrepreneurship too. And just having that mindset of, oh, well, I mean, I'm doing this and that's what I have to do, but there's this little extra thing and it's like not doing as well as it should. And I totally know how to make it better. Like that's absolutely a great way to be entrepreneurial in your job as well. And so I love what you said there. I think that's great.
I also like what you said about just trying lots of different things like you've done, like all your different ventures, all your different projects. Like I think especially at our age, I think a lot of it is just taking swings. Pun intended, unintended. Just trying a lot of different things and finding what you like, because that's the great thing about being our age, and is that we have time, you know? You can start this flower business, you can go into healthcare, you can do real estate, you can do all these different things. And whether you go like from one thing to another or do it all at one time, like all of that's great, because you're also just becoming a more well-rounded person and a more well-versed person. You're learning more and more about a variety of different industries, and that's going to make you a better entrepreneur, because the best entrepreneurs don't know a lot about one thing, they know a lot about a lot of things. And so that really hit home with me. Can we talk about faith a little bit, because you've mentioned the Lord a few times? Can we go to that?
Yeah,
How's your faith impacted all of it?
absolutely. Man, at the heart of it, I think that like my church is pretty, they don't speak, they don't, I don't know how to describe it, but they're not like overly focused on this, but they kind of mention it. It kind of bubbles to the surface sometimes. But tithing, I think, is super important for me. Always like at the, end of the week, I'll just donate 10% of whatever I made. And I know that like my church is using that to further the Lord's kingdom. So I think like that's kind of the foundation, is like whatever I have, it's the Lord's, it's not my own. I think that kind of mindset has really allowed me to incorporate the Lord and faith kind of in my entrepreneurial journey. But it's also been like, man, this product isn't selling. Like I'm scared to get these sales. Like nothing's moving at my table. I still have 10 arrangements left and only an hour to go. What am I going to do? Like in my case, like the flowers are pretty perishable. Like if I don't sell them now, then like I'm probably throwing them out and I'm losing money, but like in those moments, just really like sitting still, realizing the Lord's going to provide. And like, whether it's, all 10 of these are getting thrown out, or, I sell 3 more before the end of the hour, like awesome, and just remaining faithful to the Lord, I think has been really encouraging, and just a great joy in my experience in business and in entrepreneurship. And I guess that also applies to like deliveries as well. Like nothing is guaranteed ever. Like there might be a super busy hour and then it's just dead. Like there's no deliveries, there's no grocery orders, nobody's ordering. It's just, I guess just being faithful in, the waiting has been really cool to see, and knowing that the Lord will provide like for our every need. I think just incorporating like prayer and just a healthy relationship with the Lord has been really encouraging, and a great joy to me in the midst of all of my different passions and all of my different entrepreneurial just visions. And in my experience, yeah, it's just the Lord, and just his goodness has overflowed time and time again.
One thing I hear a lot of is uh, the relationships and meeting people is one of the biggest blessings of entrepreneurship.
Yeah,
You have any thoughts there?
I would agree. I mean, like I said before, I don't have too many mentors. I don't have too many like people encouraging me that are, a co-founder, co-owner. Like I've kind of, that we talked about self-starter, but like I would argue that I was a self-starter for most of my entrepreneurial visions, and just seeing those come to life. Like I would say that like the relationships you make like as an entrepreneur are so important. It figuring out which ones are good to keep, which ones are maybe not the best, maybe you need to cut those out, and maybe ones that you want to hang on to, maybe some that are kind of on the line. It's I would say it's difficult in my mind to kind of I would say balance all those relationships, but I think like I kind of saw that for the first time through the Venture Out project, and through being the CEO and having a team to support me. It was like, whoa, like I actually, have 4 people I can delegate tasks to. Did they do it perfectly? No. But like that's like one of the beauties of entrepreneurship is sometimes, people are not going to live up to the expectation that you had for them. And that gets cast back on you. It's like, man, that's hard, but putting in that work and doing what you ask somebody else to do, man, it's sometimes it comes back and it bites you on the other side, but other times it's really cool to see the fruits that come out of that. But yeah, I would say mentorship, like the Grigg Center offers here at ACU, is super cool as well. You get connected to mentors who have, maybe they've pursued an entrepreneurial vision in their past, or maybe they're currently doing it, and they can kind of guide you along step by step, like what your next steps are. Maybe if you're in the beginning stages of kind of developing a business, like, okay, I'm going to teach you how to do this. I'm going to teach you exactly where you can supply a need for your customer, and how to, keep up with enough product and, bookkeeping and everything that, I think that, I mean, to summarize, this is a long answer, but I think that relationships are just at the core of entrepreneurship. Like they are very important. And I think they can be very valuable if you have somebody that is just as passionate about a vision that you have.
Absolutely.
Yeah. On the note of relationships, and I think I fully agree with everything that you just said about how, well, they're important, but a lot of people starting out, as you've noted for yourself, don't have those types of relationships, those mentors, those co-founders, partners, whatever. So my question to you is, how have you gotten through some of the tougher times? What's been one major disappointment or something that you didn't expect? And how did you go through with all of that without someone, just for someone else that would be going through something similar?
Yeah. One of the hardest times, I would say, probably in the past like couple of years, I actually like had a major like loss on a lot of like bats that I was holding due to like a like nationwide, like they banned these bats from use. And so like I had like probably like 10 bats that were on the market, and whenever it's banned, like you cannot use it in any of the leagues, any of the tournaments. And so they were once legal and now they're illegal. So like just dropping their prices, reducing my profit margin, and like losing money, like I think was really hard for me to like stomach and kind of like, man, like I think it was actually like last year, like I just had like 3 or 4 bats left in my closet, and I kind of gave up hope entirely on like Boss bats and just the baseball bat business that I had grown over like middle school and high school, due to this ban. And I was like, man, like it's not even worth it. But like come this past April, like I jump right back in. I look and I see, man, are there any other bats that are trending right now? Are there any that are going for a higher amount? Are there any that I can buy and resell pretty quickly? And I would just say like I kind of regained my hope. I think that something that's really important whenever you're in the valley, whenever you're in the pit and you're just like, I have lost, this much amount of money, or like there's no demand for this product. Like I don't even know what I'm doing. Like keep thinking around what is something like I can do to maybe improve my product or kind of make it more marketable. Can I offer a discount? Can I offer maybe an incentive to buy this product? Can I maybe market it to a different like audience? Is there like some sort of like social media ads that I can push out there? Like what is one thing that I can do right now that's not going to cost me a ton of money, but that may expose my, you know, my business to just a whole new range of customers that I didn't have before. I think that's important, is like being flexible and having like just a passion for working around whenever you hit a tree, just like getting up and just like getting back up again if you fall. Or I mentioned just the valley, just like you're in a pit, like what is the one way that can get you out? And I think like for me, just having that like renewed vision, just like there are still bats that are trending, there are still like some items that I can make a profit on. There are still, hours to work for grocery delivery. There are still people that need these flowers. Like just kind of like having this renewed mindset of like, man, like I just kind of have to get around this little bump in the road, this speed bump, kind of maybe, fall back a little bit, but let's get over it and let's look to the future.
Absolutely. Along similar lines, how do you kind of balance all this with school? Because being a bio major is not quite, you're not doing coloring like us business majors.
Oh my goodness. No, it's no joke. I think that at times it's been very, very challenging for me to balance. Man, just having very like set boundaries, I'd say are very important. There was a point last semester where my grades dipped because I was out delivering for too long. I was, almost making a full-time job just grocery delivering, and I was making great money, but it's at the expense of, not super great grades, like C's on tests. It's like, man, what am I doing? Like I'm not spending the time working hard at school. I think the balance part of balancing entrepreneurship with school, with your degree, very important. And just like realizing that school comes first, like obviously the Lord, but school comes first. And in my priority list is, it's very important with my major, is like, I'm trying to keep my grades high. I'm trying to make sure that I'm passing my classes. It, that's the foundation. And then I have more time on the weekends to go and deliver, or to go and list bats that I received in the mail earlier in the week. Awesome. Like I'm going to do that. But first and foremost, like if I have a test on Monday, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to study over the weekend, and I'm going to make sure that I do okay on this test before. So I guess like I would just say the balance part is like just making sure your priorities are straight. I think has been really important in my journey.
Yeah, and do you have any specific like tips or like specific things that you do? Like, for example, I'm a big I use my Apple Calendar and Reminders app and kind of like break things up and plan things out the week before, or like know what I'm doing so that I'm being intentional. And if things don't work out the way they do, that
Yeah.
the way I want them to, that's fine. But I was at least trying. Do you do something similar, or how do you
Yeah.
manage?
I actually have like a physical planner. And so I try each week, like the Sunday nights, like I just sit down, I write everything like I have during the week. If something comes up, like sometimes I'm good about it, sometimes I'm not. And that's whenever like I like forget about that one meeting that I had. I'm like, oh man, like I totally forgot about that. But I think starting your week with just a brief outline, that's just been very helpful for me. Just like, cool, I have class Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 to 11. All right. And then Tuesday, Thursday, maybe that's a longer day, like 8 to 1:30. And then what am I doing in between, like, that 11 to 5 gap, Monday, Wednesday, Friday? What, could I be doing? But I guess just planning around like the non-negotiables has been really important for me. Just like, all right, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I have class. Tuesday, Thursday, I have class. I have Pi Kappa Chapel Tuesday, Thursday at 11. And then just come on.
Wow.
And then also just some of the meetings, some of the Bible studies, if you're in a life group or something, just jotting that down, just like, cool. Like, I also have this on the side. I think it's been really important for me in my journey, just in college. Just like I do like Google Calendar. I've just like really like struggled with implementing like anything electronic. I'm a pen and paper kind of guy. I really like just a physical, planner right in front of me so I can see what am I doing this week? What can I kind of work around? What are some things that might conflict with a test or something else I have, maybe a pop-up? Or yeah, I'd just say like that has been probably the most important tool for me. Yeah.
Definitely. I think you definitely have to have something, right? Because
Yeah.
if you're going by memory, something will slip. So
Yeah.
Some people do that though. I
it's
don't know how they
impressive.
do it.
It's
Yeah, no,
crazy.
It's crazy impressive.
Yeah.
I have a question. Back to the baseball bats. Are baseball bats still hot right now? Or are there like better things like pickleball paddles or something?
Oh, I haven't even really like researched pickleball
I'm
paddles,
just
but
curious. I don't know.
dude,
I'm
yeah,
thinking of
like
like sort of like new hot things that just sell like hotcakes. Maybe baseball bats still. I'm not
yeah.
sure.
No, I mean, they work for me. I think one thing that I've like found, I guess, is like if you are looking for something that's like hot, that's like right off the shelf, that's like, man, I just bought this and sold it for, 200% of whatever I paid for it. Like that item, I would say, is like a niche. Like I found my niche pretty early on with baseball bats, but also like this past April, just like I found 2 or 3 bats that, I can easily flip for $100, $200 in profit. And it takes me a week to sell them. Like bat hits my doorstep. I'm shipping it back out a week later or 2 weeks later. Um, Obviously there are exceptions to that, but in certain like cases, but I would just say like find your niche. I would say like baseball bats, in my experience, like yes, they are very hot. Like they are a commodity, especially in these like summer months. People are out doing tournaments nationwide every weekend. They're in Florida, they're in California, they're up the East Coast, they're here in Texas. But like some people need these bats fast, and so what I offer is like free like 2 day shipping. Like I just somebody orders them, like boom, it's in the mail like same day, and it's getting to them like 2 days later. So they order on Wednesday, they're getting it by Friday, and I like offer that free complimentary with like every bat purchase. And it's like, yeah, it cost me a little bit more, but that is like I just think of it as like I'm offering what Amazon would offer, what Prime would offer. It's like cool, like, and it's just an extra incentive to get customers to purchase my item. Like they see in the title, like fast shipping. Like they know that based on my customer feedback that, man, I do ship really quickly across the nation. I can get it from Texas to Washington or Washington State. Like I can get it from Texas to Michigan or New York in 2 days. So I guess like to answer your question, it's just like it's really important to kind of figure out like, is there a niche or is there a certain like category of items that is really just flying off the shelf that's really like reselling for a good amount of profit that, you know, and it's crazy because you see people at, like thrift stores like reselling that kind of stuff. Like that's awesome. It's insane. Like they'll just resell design brand like clothing or just different things that are maybe discontinued. And they just go for a boatload, even garage sales and like even resale shops like Ollie's or Goodwill. Just like, man, you can find some real like treasure there and just like sell it. Like I know plenty of people that have done that, and it's so cool to see. But just finding your niche, finding your passions, what you think is like gonna make you the most money and you're gonna be the most successful at it. I just say that's important to kind of take into consideration.
Yeah. I have an oddly specific question about your baseball bats. I'm curious.
Okay.
I'm curious. You said polishing, metal or wooden?
They are
Okay.
metal.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm just polishing, just like any of the ball marks or anything that's like, you know, just kind of deterring from the overall like appearance of the bat.
You're not getting rid of dents now, are you?
No.
Dang.
I used to like fill in the chips with like a paint marker. I stopped doing that because I was like, no way. Like that's just like kind of cheating people, swindling people of like, oh, this bat is great condition, but I filled in all of these little chips, you know.
Trace, do you have this app called Whatnot? Do you know what Whatnot is?
Oh, I've heard of it. Yeah.
It's a live social shopping app where you can do
Yes.
live auctions.
Yeah.
I think you should get it. I've seen a little bit of it. I got it the other day and I was looking at some things and I was like this is something Trace would do, you know? Like selling baseball bats live on it. It's called
Dude.
Whatnot. You should
Okay.
look it up.
I'll have to download it. That's crazy.
Yeah. Turner, you got anything?
I'm looking up Whatnot to see if there's
Yeah,
any,
okay.
Come on. Yeah.
any cheap
I know
collectibles on there.
eBay has actually done a similar thing with like eBay Live. I don't know if you've heard of that, but like they'll have sellers coming on live just like saying, here's my item, like I'm selling it for this amount. I don't know. I haven't really looked too much
It's a really
into that.
big market in Asia, like in China.
Really?
Live shopping, live social shopping. It's been, I know TikTok Live you can sell now on TikTok Live. Something I've seen. Just an idea.
Yeah.
Maybe it will get big soon. Who knows?
But it'll reach Abilene in 5 years.
That's true. Wait, we did mention that with Eliana, right?
That's
Abilene's 5 years behind the world.
Man.
All right.
Alrighty. Well, any other thoughts, guys?
No, I don't have anything else. Yeah.
So
Where can people reach you?
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to look up the Instagram. I believe it's Simply Flowers like _Inc. or something. I wasn't the one that made it, the social media account. I operate it now, but you can reach me there for my flower business, and then it's at Boss Bats, BOSSBATS. Yeah, I would say you can reach me on my socials there. Also on LinkedIn, Trace Bullinger, Instagram, Facebook, everything.
Awesome. Cool.
It'll all be.
Yep. Everything below.
Come on.
Cool. All right. Any last thoughts?
wrap us up, Daniel.
Wrap us up. All right. Well, thanks for coming on, Trace. It's been a great pod, talking about a lot of things. I've enjoyed it. Turner,
Yep,
Absolutely.
totally.
That was
Yeah.
Thanks for
Yeah.
coming on, Trace.
Lots of value, lots of story. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks,
I loved
guys.
it.
I really enjoyed it as well. Y'all are awesome. I love the cool work y'all are doing.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
it.
All righty. Cool.